Hello, Modern Sages Soul Tribe. In this podcast, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 beautiful herbs that are infused in the East to help clear the mind, to help clear your generations, and to bring more clarity to you each and every day. Are you searching? Are you looking for something new, something different? Are you being called to your ancestral roots? The Modern Sages podcast is a tribe of women that believe in exploring beyond the broken constructs of society. We believe in empowering women to embrace the medicine within, all with an open mind, baby. Hello, Soul Tribe. So, before getting started with this podcast, I wanted to just start with us centering and aligning so that we can be in the space to receive the messages that come from these beautiful plant spirits. Before we get started, we're going to just take a couple of deep breaths. I got some smudge going here. I want you to just really connect into your heart, giving yourself space to know that you're safe. All things are working out for the benefit of your higher self, that who you are and what you're experiencing in this world is part of your soul's expansion and growth. Calling upon our ancestors, angels, guides, guardians, the ancients to be here with us, to clear our mindset, to help us to see things in a higher and a bigger perspective. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We thank you for being here. Centering yourself, bringing yourself here in the present moment with gratitude and joy, knowing that you are supported in everything that you do. There is nothing that you have to do to be of worth. You are simply of worth just being here in the present moment right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, welcome, Soul Tribe. Now that we have centered ourselves and brought ourselves into this present moment, knowing that we are safe and secure in all that is showing up for us, before moving into the second direction, I don't think each podcast is going to be this many episodes per section, but I don't know. We're just going with the flow, following what Spirit has to offer. That's the call of being a medicine woman. So I first wanted to share some experiences that I had about some herbs that were showing up for me the other day. As I was in meditation, I just felt this energy to write down and to listen to some music and to write down and to just allow specific herbs to come in. In the month of October, I'm going to be having a retreat, and we're going to be making our own custom herbal blends, depending upon what it is that our body and our soul is telling us that we need. And so in preparation, I've been trying to figure out which herbs I want to add into the space. And I've just been allowing Spirit to guide how that will work out. As you all know, I am a huge advocate for using herbs in your everyday life to help bring balance back into your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspect, because it so does. And so having that been said, I wanted to share three of the essences that really stuck out to me, because everything does have a spirit, everything has a frequency, and all things around us are vibrating at a higher consciousness level, as well as herbs. Every herb has its own essence. It has its own spirit, has its own teachings that is here to help guide us with. And that's what I really was honing in on, is along with the benefits is a lot of the spirit essence that comes with it. So I have my little journal here, and I'm just going to go over what I experienced. And I'm hoping too that as I describe things, that it will also allow that to activate in your mind so that you can also picture it as well. So the first one I wanted to talk about was chamomile, or chamomile, however people want to describe it as. And it was in this space. I've been doing this class online, and it's been about stepping more into your healer blueprint. And it's been phenomenal. And I was talking to the ladies, and all of a sudden, I just had this huge download of information about I am so passionate about shamanic practices, along with mediumship, along with herbs. And I feel like I've tried to separate all of those things when in reality, it can be one. So as I was talking to them about what I was experiencing, all of a sudden I could just see this beautiful office set up where there's herbs on the walls and people come and we do some healing and maybe deliver some messages along with create different herbal blends, or maybe it's oils or whatever it is that they need to help their body move through whatever's showing up. And so after that, I was like, oh, that's so beautiful and something so exciting to look forward to. But specifically, I kept seeing this book that I would go back to, and it was a book that I have written. And it was almost like a book that was the benefits, like the logical benefits, as well as the spiritual benefits, and really sitting with each of the essences of the herbs that would be in my apothecary on the walls to help others to create those custom blends to help support them. And so let's start. Actually, the first one was nettle. That was the first one that came to me in my meditation. And so let me just read you a little bit about stinging nettle in general. And then I can share with you. I've been writing this little PDF too that has information on it. But stinging nettle is here to combat inflammation. It's a heart health. It cleanses away. It's clearing away and creating space for new. So let me just read this little section here. Nettle tea is made from the dried leaves of the stinging nettles. Once picked and dried, the loose leaves lose their sting and are perfectly safe to ingest. Used as a folk remedy for thousands of years, nettle tea is now seeing a resurge of popularity due to high nutrient content and the ability to combat inflammation. So some of the benefits is it alleviates pain. It protects the kidneys and the urinary and prostate health. A lot of times people will use that for prostate health. And when I worked at the herb shop, people would come in to get that for that as well. Strengthens your bones. It's rich in amino acids, proteins, bone building minerals like iron. And it also is great for blood sugar management. It's preventative along with protects your heart health. So as you can see, there's many beautiful benefits of stinging nettle, just what science has shown and research. So as I sat in and just welcomed the essence of nettle to show up for me, it was so beautiful because I had this song going and it was like the essence of the spirit showed up right in front of me. It was like almost like as if my heart was almost in like a banana leaf, like completely covered over. And it was like there were different waves that were showing up to release. And it was like, it would start from the right to the left. And it was like little pushes of energy pulling out to just create a little bit more space for this banana leaf to start to open. And after it went from the left to the right, then all of a sudden there was like whoosh, this wave again, and it started on the left to the right again. And maybe it was a different color or the wave looked different. And it was just like it kept going, and there were layers and layers and layers pulling back from the banana leaf to allow the heart to open, to allow a healthy heart, to allow a heartfelt experience, to be more connected to the heart, to live more of a heart-centered life. It was almost as if, I don't know if you can, if you're listening, you can't see this, but it was almost as if it was pulling back layers in phases, and it was pulling back layers in my chest and my heart, in my chest cavity, to allow my heart to breathe and to have full expression and full capacity. And it was like it was clearing away anything in the lungs to also allow a voice, the power of breath, the breath of life to be able to flow more abundantly. And so it was pulling back the layer in phases. It was opening space for heart health. It was a purification, open, release, and fill. And I also learned that it's not meant to always be on, but it's also here to clear blood cells to rejuvenate. It eradicates the dead, scrubs old. It like scrubs away the old to create a space for new patterns to show up or new breath of life. And it was like all of a sudden, as I was breathing with it, all of a sudden it was like I had so much space in my heart and my chest to breathe. And for this banana leaf to expose my heart and for it to be safe and secure. And then I could see the all that was eradicated or all that was taken away or released so that the blood could flow properly. And there were channels of communication, and it was just such a beautiful experience. And as I was sitting with that, all of a sudden it reminded me of the East. It was like connecting to the heart and to the lungs. And we don't normally think that would be the mind, but really it's the breath, as nettle is here to help with lung support, with inflammation, so that we can see things in a different perspective. And a lot of times, if we're in a lot of pain, our pain takes over and it's hard for us to see any other way. And so this nettle was just a reminder that it's pulling back in layers, and it can be a very potent herb, using it in the proper way to eradicate, to move, to release, and to fill so that we can have that healthy heart. But more importantly, we can have that safety and that security in ourselves. It was such a beautiful, beautiful one. The other one I wanted to share, there's two, is chamomile and raspberry leaf. I am a big advocate for raspberry leaf, of course. I don't necessarily love the taste of chamomile. I have a jar full of it, but I just can't seem to get into it. But as I was sitting with it, I learned some really cool things about chamomile that was pretty mind-blowing. So chamomile is a very calming herb. It's one that's used to help relax. It's one for anxiety. It's for calming the mind. It's for helping you feel calm and secure if you want to go to bed at night. A lot of people will use chamomile to just relax their body, relax their mind, so that they can wind down for the night. And chamomile is like, it's kind of like a yellow flowering. It looks like yellow flowers. Kind of, they're yellow. And they smell really sweet. So, anyways, when you make a dried loose leaf, it smells really beautiful. So as I was sitting with chamomile and I welcomed the spirit of chamomile to be here, it was really cool because I could see how it was just soothing the nervous system. And it was really beautiful because all of a sudden I was like looking at my brain and looking at the pathways that my brain had. And if you think about the different pathways, the neural pathways that we have in our brain, it was like sometimes we have these deep canals, you could say, that is how something's always been. And when we're doing generational healing or clearing or anything, it's like we're working through those to create new patterns or new possibilities, new ways of being. And it was like all of a sudden I could see these little yellow flowers, an herb flowering with these yellow chamomile flowers. And it was like all of a sudden, if you could think of like deep ravines where there's water just cutting through the rock, you can imagine that to be the brain. It was like these flowers were here to like soak up. It was like they were soaking up all of the water from those canals and just like absorbing all of it. So it dried out and it was healing. And then it was like when all that water was gone, it was like, and it just released into a whole different area to create a different pattern. And it was like assisting, like sucking it up and then dispersing it into a new place to create a new pattern in the brain. And it was like it was there to help create new patterns of mental blocks, of emotional things, of generational stuff. It was so cool to experience that and to see that those flowers were just pulling up all of that to assist in creating new patterns and new perspectives of that way of being. Because a lot of times when we're working on our mind, it's allowing these new channels to open up, these new frequencies and patterning to set into our brain. And That's why a lot of times when people have like dyslexia, they try to do like cross training, like training your right brain and your left foot, or your right hand and your left foot. Like it's like creating new pathways to have a different outcome. And chamomile is there to help soothe and to help be in process or in step with that. So for those who do have dyslexia, or who have major anxiety, or who are battling heavy emotions right now, chamomile is the perfect assistance as you are looking at those experiences and doing things to help create a new pathway. Everything, of course, is here to assist, but it's also part of our experience to learn. And so it's not like it's just going to take everything away, but it can be there and you can welcome that spirit in to help you so that you can have a more profound experience and heal so much quicker. So I wrote here, soothe the nervous system, flowering brain calming, heals to create new patterning, open to heal, paired with filling herbs. So along with that, you might see, you can get different herbal blends too that are like chamomile and lavender. And it almost feels like chamomile is really great to have by itself, but it's also really great to be paired with other filling herbs, other herbs that are here to help assist in navigation or movement. As this is sucking up, it's like, okay, having other herbs to help create new pathways is a very cool thing. So if you can see, this is what it looked like. It's kind of hard to see. And my drawing isn't that great. Soaks up water to dry out and create new channels and ways of being. So chamomile is a beautiful herb. And of course, I found that to be very fitting for the East, with the mind and soothing the way of the mind. It was just, I was blown away. Just shocked about all of this. The next one I wanted to share is raspberry leaf, and I absolutely love all things raspberry leaf. So good. And actually, while I was being introduced to the essence of raspberry leaf, the song Take It Slow by Ayla was on, and it's all about relaxing, being still, slowing your mind. Let me see if I can pull up some of the words as we're here discovering this. Okay, so here are the words to some of it. Take it slow and don't get in your way. Keep it moving at the pace of every weather. Look within. Don't forget you are surrounded by the wind as it rushes in your lungs. Oh, honey, you are born of the moon. Precious cave, don't forget there is unknown inside of you. Don't turn away from yourself by being like somebody else. You are the tide crashing over and a call of the mountains of your darkest tunnels are where your light comes from. And so as I was coming into this space, such beautiful words, but this was playing out while the raspberry was showing up for me. And it was the perfect blend of generational healing and generational acknowledgement with the beautiful aspect of the herb. So raspberry is commonly known to be the woman's herb. It's there to help support hormones. A lot of people will take it when they're trying to get pregnant or preparation, as well as when they're getting ready to be induced. A lot of different people will suggest to take nettle actually with red raspberry leaf as a way to help clear the body. So let me read here what I've written. Red raspberry has many medical properties. Some of the most common benefits are hormone balance, aids in constipation, soothes cold and flu symptoms, and is loaded with nutrients. Raspberry leaf is known as a woman's herb. It has been researched for years and demonstrated some potential health benefits when it comes to women's health. The herbal tea is made from the raspberry plant known as botanical name Rubus idius. I don't think I said that right, but that's all right. Some of the benefits: it's packed with nutrients, antioxidant properties. It may reduce menstrual cramps. It helps to shorten labor along with this just gestational upset. So it's good for all of the things, all of the beautiful things. And to me, it tastes amazing. So pulling back into the essence of what this herb had to offer, is it felt like I was seeing it was an extension of the divine womb of the earth. And so when someone buys a raspberry or when you receive a raspberry start, um, typically you get it from someone who has it already in their garden. And then you want to like section it off to have it be in its own place, or it will take over. It will take over everything. And so it's almost like a lot of people will put it away from all the other herbs because they know how potent raspberry leaf will actually just like take over everything. And it was so interesting because to me, that was very symbolic of generational healing, wounding, and trauma. That as we are open to being aware of our own trauma or what the generations before us experienced, when we can see that that's part of the journey and not make it wrong, but also trust that it's part of it, right? It's like you can see how either it can take over and it can be overwhelming and feel like almost soul crushing at times, or it can be something so beautiful and something so profound where we can be aware of it, have it in its own section, go and visit it, receive the blessings and the goodness. Sometimes you have to trim things down, get rid of some of the plant to make more space for more. But how true was that with generational connection? A lot of times if we're not aware of it, it can actually hinder us from being able to be here and live the most passionate part of our own life. But sometimes we do have to also take care of those things, look at those things, pull back, tear some of it out to create space for new. So it was just so many of those things were showing up, but then also just like seeing the leaf in the raspberry and how when you pick the raspberry, it's so fulfilling and how it's that deep red, that color of blood, that womb energy. And it was like I could see how this raspberry leaf was an extension of the divine womb of the earth, helping with the flow. And it's like as you take those, those raspberries and you eat them, there's going to be more coming. There's more abundance. There's more fertility in raspberry leaves. They just keep coming and they just keep coming back and they just keep growing. And when we can have a beautiful perspective of that with our generations, we can call upon that beautiful energy to hold true to us in an even more beautiful and deeper way. Sparks joy and wonder, ovaries, abundant growth. Oh yeah. And even like if you think about on the tree branches, like the raspberries being like the ovaries and it being part of this beauty of the cycle of a woman and the body and what you go through, because it does also help heal the womb. It helps prepare, it helps, clear out the lining so that you can have a quicker birth, more natural. It's there to help you in that essence. But also, like, think about this, right? Because we are connected to our ancestors, the same body. It's like you're conceived and you grow in your mother, or you grow in some, like, just the whole process of birth and fertility is so beautiful, and how it's linked generations and like we're linked completely. And it's like part of who I am is them. And it's this continuation. And so there is sometimes a lot of trauma, a lot of heaviness with birth. Really, there's a lot of sadness and difficulty and a lack of women empowerment when it comes to birth as well. And so it's almost like as we use raspberry leaf to clear the womb, to help heal any of our hormones, to also call upon our ancestors who also have experienced that, whether good or bad. It's like when we can have red raspberry in our system, in our space, we're able to bring that in and cultivate to heal the womb. And it's the womb of Mother Earth. It's the womb of all the women who came before you and those who were yet to come. That's how powerful it is. And it's all part of it. It's part of this healing, beautiful property. Bridge, honor your soul beauty. Brings and provides life. Bloodline buries healing. Generational connections, beautiful gifts and connections spread and cause to chaos or in support of all around. What we talked about. So these are just a few. And of course, as we're diving into a call from the ancestors, I feel like the red raspberry is an ancient tradition. It's one that's there to help us to not only heal within ourselves, but to heal the generations. And in honor of that, I have a big bag of raspberry leaf. After experiencing that beauty of red raspberry, of lavender, of chamomile, I ended up creating a brew of lavender and of raspberry and nettle. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the chamomile, but I do have some of the herbal blends where it's chamomile and lavender. And 2 nights ago, I did drink that to go to bed. But I did create the blend of the raspberry and the nettle. And I created a big batch of it so that I can drink it throughout the next couple of days, just with ice. I loved iced tea like that. And just welcoming in that remembrance, welcoming in that healing and that soul connection, all of that beauty that is had and held deep within just felt very important. You know, as I've been working on my own emotions and my own connection to the ancestors, to my womb, to healing, to opening up my heart even more, to expressing and clearing out my lungs. It just felt like all of this was such a beautiful lesson to be had of the herbs that Mother Earth has given us to assist in reclaiming and remembering really who we are and that deep divine connection that we have. So this is a deep breakdown. I went pretty deep with these herbs to share. And of course, to me, this is just like the tipping point. And I'm so excited to work on that book, that little booklet that I had that, you know, it had my handwriting and drawings and pictures and downloads of information that is just building upon this ancient apothecary that's ready to come into form. And it feels exciting and welcoming. And it's like, oh, well, how do I set everything up that way? And I want to do this. And it's like, no, little by little, get used to each of the herbs, connect into the essence, infuse your being with them, and just allow them to teach you and to be with you so that when you have people in your space, when you step into that role in a deeper form, you are making those concepts. And I think that a lot of times in the spirit realm, we have all these big ideas of what it needs to look like and how we need to do all the things. And it can get overwhelming because we don't actually sit in the moment of what is and what we've already been accomplishing and already doing to bring in such beauty and wonder. And so it's just a reminder too. It's little by little, you know, it's kind of like the chamomile flowers. They grow when they're little, but like when we can magnify and just hone in on what's showing up for us right now and act upon that calling step by step, then all of a sudden we're creating new pathways. And all of a sudden we're like, how did I get here? But if we're too busy focusing on the outcome, we're missing the medicine of stepping in, of being in the inn, of loving the inn, of embracing the inn of what you're here to accomplish and to honor and to joy and to experience. That's what we're here to do. It's little by little, it's step by step. And it's good to have a big vision, but it's also good to do the little things to heal the body, to heal the nervous system, to heal the wounds that are showing up so that you can be your best self when those days do come. And one day you'll be there. One day, all of a sudden, I know I'll have this room set up. I'll have all these herbs everywhere. And one day I'll be like, this is the vision that I saw. And it took me this time to get here. As I started working with Candace, she had all these amazing shamanic tools. And I was like, man, I need this and I want that and I want this and all of a sudden it was like, no, just slow down. Things will come little by little. Just surrender and trust. You're building your medicine bag slowly. and surely, and it's happening. So just be in the present moment. Create from the heart center, heal the body. Connect into these herb spirits that are here to help you, that are here to help magnify what your body, your mind, and your soul are here to do today. Such a good reminder. Such a beautiful reminder. My honest activity, my invitation to you today is, whether it be a loose leaf tea or you go get a tea bag from the grocery store, whatever that may be, of these 3 herbs, if any of those call to you, and to just take time to make a cup of tea, to set your attention, to turn off your phone or to listen to music, to have your journal, to have your paint, to do whatever it is that makes your soul feel on fire, allowing these herbs to infuse your being and to bring you back into the moment, to bring clarity into the hectic life ahead of you. Even if it's drinking that in the morning for 5 minutes, or listening to a gratitude meditation for 5 minutes in the morning while you're drinking your tea. Or even if it's on the go like this, I have it in my cup, and when I drink it, I'm like, oh, thank you for infusing my body with healing, for healing the past and the future and the present moment. When we set the intention, we can have beautiful and powerful experiences that come forward with us. So many good things. Thank you for being a part of this beautiful soul tribe. Like I said, in October, we're going to be having an amazing, beautiful retreat that will be hosted in Salt Lake. So if that calls to you, please click the link below and to register for your spot, as these spaces, of course, are going to be limited, so that you can also take the time to create your own custom blend while learning to trust yourself. This retreat is all about learning to trust who you are and trust your innate abilities, your divine connection to the other side. And this is going to be after the month of spirit in September, of really debunking the taboo, creating space for new patterning for you to step even deeper into your spiritual gifts. So both of those opportunities are going to be in the show notes below. If you feel like this podcast would be good for someone that you know, please send it their way. I love hearing good feedback and helping bless others' lives with these beautiful herbs and the messages that they have to share with us. Like always, blessings, love, and light. Until next time. Do you feel called to connect to your medicine within? Have you wanted to strengthen your spiritual gifts? Are you looking for ways to incorporate the sacred into your everyday life? Maybe do you want to have like-minded friends in a tribe who can connect with you? Modern Sage's Soul Tribe is dedicated to spiritual seekers like yourself who are embracing the medicine within. Now, in this tribe, we are going to be doing moon gatherings, amazing spiritual gift giveaways, connecting to a soul tribe, as well as hosting mystery school classes. If you are feeling called to connect to the soul tribe, I will leave a link for you in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening to Modern Sages Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us online. Blessings.